Welcome back to our channel, where we uncover the most gripping true crime stories from around the world. Today, we're diving into the gripping tale. The tragic murder of Shao Tong is a chilling tale that resonates deeply with anyone who has heard it. It is a story of love gone wrong, of trust betrayed, and of a promising young life cut short in a horrifying manner. Shao Tong's death in 2014 shocked not only her family and friends, but also the entire Chinese student community in the United States. This documentary delves into the intricacies of the case, the relationship that led to the tragedy, and the investigation that ultimately brought her killer to justice. Shao Tong, a 19-year-old Chinese student from Iowa State University, was a vibrant young woman with a promising future. She was studying chemical engineering and had dreams of making a mark in her field. Like many international students, Shao had come to the United States to pursue higher education and to experience a new culture. However, she never anticipated that her life would be cut short in such a brutal way. Shao was in a relationship with a fellow Chinese student named Li Xiangyun, who was also studying in the United States. Li was a few years older than Shao, and their relationship had been going on for about 2 years. From the outside, they seemed like a typical couple, but those who knew them closely could see the cracks in their relationship. Shao's friends noted that she was often unhappy and that there were frequent arguments between the two. Shao's parents were particularly concerned about her relationship with Li. They had never fully approved of him and had expressed their reservations to their daughter on multiple occasions. They felt that Li was controlling and possessive, traits that did not bode well for their daughter's happiness. Shao, however, was deeply in love with Li and believed that their relationship would improve with time. Unfortunately, this belief would lead her down a dark path. In September 2014, Shao Tong was reported missing by her friends after she failed to return to her apartment in Ames, Iowa. Before proceeding, I'd like to share an important message with everyone. We've been exerting our utmost effort to produce top-notch content on our channel. Despite our dedication over a considerable period, we're yet to reach our initial goal of 1,000 subscribers, with 97% of our viewers yet to subscribe. Therefore, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing to our channel if you enjoy our content. Her disappearance was unusual, as Shao was known to be a responsible and punctual person. Her friends tried to contact her, but her phone was turned off, and there was no sign of her anywhere. Concerned, they reached out to the police, who immediately launched an investigation, as the search for Shao intensified. Investigators turned their attention to her boyfriend Li Xiangyun. He had been the last person to see Shao, and his behaviour in the days following her disappearance raised suspicions. Li told the police that he and Shao had taken a trip to Iowa's scenic Ledges State Park on September 6th. According to him, they had spent the day hiking and enjoying nature, but things had taken a turn for the worse when they started arguing. Li claimed that after the argument, Shao had decided to leave and had driven off on her own. He said he hadn't seen or heard from her since. Li's story did not sit well with the investigators. They found it odd that Shao would leave without informing anyone, especially given her close relationship with her friends and family. Additionally, Li's demeanour was suspiciously calm for someone whose girlfriend was missing. As the police continued to question him, they noticed inconsistencies in his statements, which further fueled their doubts. Meanwhile, Shao's parents were growing increasingly anxious. They had been trying to reach their daughter for days without success, and the news of her disappearance had left them devastated. Shao's mother in particular was distraught, as she had always worried about her daughter's safety in a foreign country. The fact that Shao had been involved in a troubled relationship only added to their fears. On September 26, 2014, the case took a grim turn. Shao's body was discovered in the trunk of her own car, which had been abandoned in a parking lot in Iowa City, more than 100 miles away from Ames. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community, as the grim reality of Shao's fate became clear. The police immediately launched a homicide investigation, and all eyes were once again on Li Xiangyun. The autopsy revealed that Shao had been strangled to death, a method of killing that indicated a crime of passion. The brutality of the act and the effort to conceal her body suggested that the perpetrator was someone close to her, someone who had been driven by intense emotions. With this evidence, the police intensified their focus on Li. As investigators dug deeper into Li's background, they uncovered more troubling information. It was revealed that Li had a history of being controlling and possessive in his relationships. Friends and acquaintances described him as someone who was jealous and prone to anger. These traits had caused tension in his relationship with Shao, leading to frequent arguments and emotional turmoil. In the days following Shao's disappearance, Li had exhibited strange behavior. He had been seen cleaning his apartment obsessively, and he had made several trips to nearby stores purchasing cleaning supplies. These actions, combined with the inconsistencies in his story, led the police to believe that he was trying to cover up a crime. It wasn't long before Li became the prime suspect in Shao's murder. Despite the mounting evidence against him, Li maintained his innocence. He claimed that he had nothing to do with Shao's death, and that he was as shocked as anyone by the discovery of her body. However, his actions told a different story. In a desperate attempt to evade capture, Li fled the United States and returned to China, hoping to escape the consequences of his actions. The case against Li Xiangyong was far from over though. The United States and China do not have an extradition treaty, which made it difficult for US authorities to bring Li back to face justice. However, the Chinese government was not willing to let the case go unresolved. The international media attention and the outcry from both the Chinese and American communities put pressure on the Chinese authorities to act. In May 2015, Li was arrested by Chinese police in Wenzhou, his hometown. He was charged with the murder of Shao Tong and was put on trial in a Chinese court. The trial was closely followed by the media, both in China and the United States, as it was one of the few instances where a Chinese national was being tried for a crime committed on foreign soil. During the trial, the prosecution presented a compelling case against Li. They argued that he had killed Shao in a fit of jealousy and rage, driven by his possessive nature. The evidence, including Li's behaviour after Shao's disappearance and the forensic findings from the crime scene, pointed to his guilt. The defence, on the other hand, tried to paint a picture of Li as a misunderstood individual who had been unfairly targeted by the authorities. However, the overwhelming evidence against him made it difficult for them to sway the court. In July 2016, the court found Li Xiangyong guilty of murder and sentenced him to life in prison. The verdict was a relief for Shao's family and friends, who had endured nearly 2 years of anguish and uncertainty. While nothing could bring Shao back, the conviction of her killer provided a sense of closure and justice. The murder of Shao Tong is a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers that can lurk within seemingly ordinary relationships. It is a story of a young woman who had her entire life ahead of her, only to have it cruelly taken away by someone she trusted. The case also highlights the challenges that international students face when they are far from home, navigating new environments and relationships without the support of their families. Shao's parents, who had always been wary of her relationship with Li, were left to grapple with the loss of their only child. Their fears had been tragically realised, and they were left with the painful knowledge that they could not protect their daughter from the dangers of the world. In the years following Shao's death, they have worked to raise awareness about the importance of recognising the signs of unhealthy relationships and the need for better support systems for international students. The case also had a profound impact on the Chinese student community in the United States. It served as a wake-up call for many, reminding them of the importance of staying connected with their families and seeking help when faced with difficult situations. The tragic loss of Shao Tong is a story that will not be forgotten, as it serves as a powerful example of the need for vigilance and support in all relationships. As we remember Shao Tong, we must also reflect on the lessons her story teaches us. The importance of listening to our loved ones, recognizing the signs of unhealthy relationships, and taking action when something feels wrong cannot be overstated. Shao's life was taken too soon, but her story will continue to resonate with those who hear it, serving as a reminder of the fragility of life and the need to cherish every moment we have with those we love. This is a story of love turned to tragedy, of a young woman who trusted too much and paid the ultimate price. The murder of Shao Tong will remain etched in the memories of those who knew her and in the hearts of those who hear her story. It is a cautionary tale, one that reminds us of the darkness that can hide behind even the most familiar faces and the importance of protecting ourselves and those we care about from harm. Additionally, the Q Crime channel offers numerous other captivating cases for you to explore. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with Q Crime Story videos every day. Farewell for now, and we eagerly anticipate your presence in our future videos.